I'm Michael Wallis, and I'm an author, and I've published now 11 books about a wide variety of subjects, history, biography, American culture, and one of them is Route 66, the Mother Road, which has become, I'm happy to say, pleased to say, a Bible of the road, and helped launch this unprecedented revival of interest in Route 66. For me, the journey down Route 66 is endless, and it's because this highway right outside these windows is very much part of my whole psyche and being. I was born just about as far off Route 66 in Missouri, in St. Louis, as Stan Musial, the great slugger, could hit a hard ball. That close to the road. So immediately from 1945, the road was right there in front of me, and it was the highway. In fact, in Missouri at that time, we always called it Highway 66, or the highway, uppercase H. It was the road that I discovered America on. We went eastward up the road out of St. Louis, across the Mississippi, into the land of Lincoln in Illinois, up to the Lincoln sites in Springfield, up to see relatives in Chicago and the Great Lakes. We went westward on 66. It's where I ate my first enchiladas, saw my first cowboys and Indians, oil wells, discovered Indian artifacts and outlaw hideouts, and saw the Pacific and the Painted Desert and the Grand Canyon and so much more. As a young man, it's the road I learned to drive on. 1955 Plymouth, stick Plymouth, black Savoy. It's where I did my first courting in the hamburger stands and drive-in movies of Route 66. As a Marine in the 60s, I hitchhiked home from California, right on Route 66. And I'd look down the road and San Bernardino, get up from Pendleton to San Bernardino and say, God, I'm halfway home. Well, of course I wasn't, but it was so familiar to me. I knew this was the road, this concrete and asphalt would take me to my folks back in Missouri. Then as a young reporter, I did a lot of my work starting out on Route 66, covering the good, the bad, the ugly, out on the highway. In the course of my life, I've lived in 7 of the 8 states. The only one I haven't lived in is Kansas, where we just have a little nip of the corner of Kansas. So again, it was so prevalent in my mind and being. And long in the 80s, when I began writing books, and I had worked for many newspapers and for Time Life, People, and Time Magazine, and decided to start writing books, this was a logical next book for me to do, Route 66, the Mother Road, because I was so damn sick and tired of people talking about the road in the past tense. I knew full well that the road was still there and still alive. They might have taken down the signs and officially decertified it, the federal government, but I knew the road itself was still there, and more importantly, the people were still there. Cutting hair, fixing engines, dispensing hospitality, and I became so taken up in this Route 66 cause and idea that I decided to write what I call unabashedly a love letter to the highway. Not only the highway, but the people who remain out on the road, and those who are now coming along, the new generations and waves of people. And I must say, I've been delighted with what's happened in the last 12, 13 years since I first published that book.